Let's go!
It's the LA Football Podcast.
Touchdown Ram! Recovered by the Chargers. Touchdown UCLA!
With USC great and NFL stud, Frostee Rucker.
The Trojans back in front!
And LAFB founder Ryan Dyrud on the Believe Podcast Network and LAFBnetwork.com. This is your destination for Los Angeles football.
Los Angeles, what is going on? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you are listening. And welcome in to the Believe in LA Football Podcast here on the Believe Podcast Network, also on LAFBnetwork.com, your destination for Los Angeles football. Joined as always by the great Frostee Rucker. My man, what's going on?
Ryan, what's up? LA, what's poppin'?
Not much. We had a great weekend, which we are going to get to, have a great guest coming on the show, which I will announce and tease in just a minute. But of course, as always, this show is brought to you today by betonline.ag. As everyone knows, specifically those who listen to our show, the NFL is in full swing, and there's no better place to bet on games than betonline.ag. From game spreads, totals, team, player, and coaching props. They have a fun mask props. Who's going to take down their mask? Who's going to get fined? All stuff like that. You got to head to betonline.ag today and take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. Again, that's betonline.ag. Sign up today. Frostee, have you gotten back in the betting game, or are you still are you taking it easy on that side of things?
I'm on the fence just because that one Laker game that I blew it. I'm going to be on the fence for it, but I'm still encouraging everyone else to do it.
Yeah, that's
just
what we
me.
do.
I'm going to sit this one out.
Yeah, I'm like, as with my entire playing career, like if you can't play, coach. So if you can't bet, get other people to bet. So that's what we'll do.
Right.
Go bet. BetOnline.ag. So, before we get into it, we like to shout out our LA teams. I'm rocking the Dodger hat. Congrats to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are World Series champions. You know, this city of champions here in LA.
How huge is that right now for the city?
Dude, yeah, Lakers, now Dodgers, and hopefully Rams or Chargers, and Trojans or Bruins.
Hey, it's almost here. It's near.
Yeah, near. So I'll just be honest. I didn't watch much baseball, but, we're in LA and we're an LA podcast, so it's cool they won. So happy for them.
You too, right? And no, I'm pumped up. The last couple of years, they've gone all the way to the ship and, fallen off the wagon a little bit for whatever reason, which we all know. There's been a lot of discussion about it and a lot of controversy, and they finally got over that hump. And this year was the COVID series, and it almost got them again with their third baseman, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
we weathered the storm. We got the win. I see Magic Johnson, one of the minority owners. That was huge. It's just good to, bring championships to the city.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. And, I was happy for Clayton Kershaw, a guy that, he reminds me of the Peyton Manning of baseball, just so dominant in the regular season and just could never quite get over the hump in the playoffs. And now he gets his ring. So happy for him. One of the best.
Yeah, you're right. It's huge. He's a prodigy and, finally sealing that, which will be a Hall of Fame type of career for him, getting that ring. So kudos to the Dodgers. And now I'm a big Mookie
Betts. There you go.
I just love the name just because, I got a unique name, Mookie Betts. This is great.
I don't think I ever asked you, since you said that. Maybe I have off air, but does Frostee, is it named after anyone, or is it a nickname, or that's just what Mama named you?
Well, it's my father's nickname. My
Okay.
father was in service, and he was actually a DJ Frost, and quote unquote, he was cold on the spins, is what they used to say. And he's like, no matter what I named you, they're going to call you Little Frost. So
yeah,
was Frost.
I love it. That's a great story too. So there you go.
And then a year later, he was out of the service, and I was still Frosty.
Yeah. Did you ever DJ?
No, but I love music.
Okay, well that counts.
I make fire playlists.
That's all that matters. Yeah, that's all that matters.
CDs back in the day. Boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those mixtapes for the ladies. And now you spit fire on the mic in the podcast game. So there you go.
I'm getting there.
It all comes full circle.
I'm taking your lead on it.
Nah, I don't know about that. Speaking of that, though, you taking lead. Let's talk about a little bit. You started your own show, if you're willing to talk about it, Taking Back the West. What's that about? Let everyone know.
You can just take back the West. Obviously, Dante Williams, the number one recruiter, I would say, besides Coach Ed Ordron, and a couple of juggernauts out there. But we got him from Oregon, stole him. He's an LA guy, came home. He brought that energy, brought that quote in. And I actually had a chance to interview him the other day about it. But it's been going well. I've been interviewing a couple guys, some players, coaches, just filling them out, seeing how fall camp's going, and getting ready for this COVID-7 Pac-12 season.
COVID-7, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm excited. So obviously Frost will still be with me doing the LA football podcast here. We do cover USC, which, people might forget, but we do cover USC, and we'll be getting a lot to it once the season starts. But Frosty's doing his own podcast that is just USC specific. So that'll be great for USC fans. And I know you're doing great. I'm helping edit some stuff for you. So I think it's gonna be great. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm not leaving you, bud. I got you.
Okay. Well, good. We'll see. But, well, cool. Well, great weekend for LA. We go 2-0. Me and you both predicted it. We're going to get back on track, get back to 2-0. And so I want to get into that here in just a minute. We'll start with the Chargers game. But we're partnering with this new company, Frosty, called Collide. It's a chat app. And now everything, obviously people can't go to games, NFL specific. Bars are very limited. You can, do outside seating. So there's this new app called Collide that we are going to be a part of and chat during games. So it's a way for fans and athletes and musicians and whoever we want to call it. I'm not calling myself in that group, but just for anyone that wants to come together during the game and chat about specific games. So we'll be doing this starting this weekend with the Chargers and Rams games. So just got to tell everyone out there, you're going to go to Collide. You're going to download it on either iOS devices or Android devices. It's COLLYDE. You could also go to neverwatchsportsalone.com and you can download it straight from there. You're going to join the rooms with Believe in LA in the title. I think it should be fun. Chatting with our fans.
Yeah, so collide us. Don't collide into us.
There you go.
Collide us, right? I'm done. I retired, so I don't want none of that contact.
Yeah. So, and we will obviously, while doing this chat, I'm finding a way to get all these sponsors. We need to make it flow better, but we're working on it. So I'll throw another one in right now. While we're doing the Collide, we'll obviously be drinking Golden Road beer, and hopefully they can crack a cold one with us.
Drink up, Ryan. Drink up.
You'll be drinking with me too, hopefully on Sunday. It's a little later where you are right now. You're getting ready for bed, so I understand. I was Mr. Mom all day, so this is a much-needed beer. It's going down real smooth right now. Okay, with that being said, so yeah, Collide, make sure to download that. We'll shout stuff out on LAFB Network and all of our Twitter and Instagrams so everyone can find those. We want to talk with you throughout the game. So Rams in Miami and the Chargers game, and so we'll be chatting with those. It'll be a lot of fun. Chargers and Broncos, so that'll be a fun one for me to get into with some fans.
Broncos come,
Yeah.
Now they're on deck.
Yeah, so we'll get more into that game next episode. But let's talk right now. Justin Herbert gets his first big win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 39-29. It was an ugly game at times. Chargers looked really good at times. What was your, Frost, just real initial takeaways right away off the bat of this game before we kind of get into it?
Well, I think them coming off the bye, like we talked about before on our previous show, them coming off a bye, they were going to be full steam ahead, and they did exactly what I thought was going to happen. I hate to keep patting myself on the back about this, but the Chargers, they arrived. They finally showed up. They gave us a full game, the normal highs and lows of those games, like usual, but they finished it off. I knew they would finish it off, and I'm so glad I can sit here and say now it's time for the Chargers to stack them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there was times when it looked like they were starting to slip up a little bit, and the offense kind of put the gas back on put the pedal to the metal a little bit, which was one of the things a lot of people were upset with, is they got too conservative in the second half with big leads, and they kind of put the pedal to the metal there and then went back up 10 and never looked back. It was great to see them pull away with the win and finally get one, like you said, and now they just start stacking them. But overall, it's an NFL game. Jacksonville maybe not a great team, and I know they've had their own struggles. Yeah, they're not good, but it's a win's a win, and you take them where you can get them, and then you build upon it from there.
Oh, absolutely. They're not a very good franchise right now, and I think it's going to be a little while until they are, and they're but they're an NFL team, like we keep saying. They get the same amount of free agents. They get the same amount of tryouts that everyone else gets, and they're going to constantly try to build back some type of respect in this league, but it just wasn't their weekend. It hasn't been their weekend all season, and the Chargers took care of business. This is something they definitely need to, like I keep saying, stack on.
Yeah.
They got that. They got Justin's first win under his belt. Keenan had a heck of a game. Didn't score a touchdown, but, he was very active, a lot of big yards. And but, Ryan, to me, they arrived. It's just about time that they finished the game. That's all I needed from them, is to finish the game, all 4 quarters, and they played everyone to the ropes. Mm-hmm. Every single team they played, they've been right there in it with a rookie quarterback that got thrown into the fire, and now all of a sudden he's got his first win. He's got that swag now. So I know we're going to insert this, but ballin', because Justin Herbert is balling, and I think he's playing better than all the rookie quarterbacks that are out there.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. He is the real deal 5 games in. What does that do for you as a player? I know it's talked about in press conferences and in the media and among fans that, it's a week-to-week business. You treat every game like you're 1-0, all the boring, jargon. But in reality, what does it mean when you have a 4-game skid and finally get that one win? How big of an effect does it actually have on you as a player?
Well, for one, everyone's smiling going into the office. You're always awaiting after a loss how coach is going to rip you. Everything's magnified. You didn't put your hands here. If you would have did that, we probably would have won, or you would have gave us a better chance. But this time, even the bad plays get a little swept under the rug. You didn't do right, but we won the game. Let's move on. Let's build on it. Get your confidence. And this was exactly what Coach Lynn needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why they will build on this and then go into next week into Denver, a big division game for them with 2 young quarterbacks, and kind of take this swag with them, whereas Denver kind of a team going a different direction because of a bad loss. But one thing, if I want to be nitpicky, let's talk about the running game a little bit. Obviously, when you lose a player like Austin Eckler, exactly, what run game? When you lose a player like Austin Eckler, it's a big loss, which what he brings in not only the running game but the passing game, and he just opens things up for that play calling, if you will. Now we saw, Joshua Kelly have some good games early on, a lot of excitement coming around here, and he's kind of, had some fumbles and kind of just tapered down a little bit. Justin Jackson's been battling injury. He's finally getting healthy, but still, combined, I think they ran for like 40-something yards. Justin Herbert was the leading rusher with 66. How can this team get back on track in the running game until Austin Eckler's healthy finally?
Well, they're going to have to practice hard. They're going to have a great week of practice going into Denver. I'm sure the coaches are going to stress it. I'm sure the players themselves are going to critique themselves harder than anyone, harder than us, right? Oh, yeah. Not that too scary on the microphone, but they're going to critique themselves even harder than us. And they know they were kind of the weakest link on the offense, right? They didn't do anything. And for this offense to go where they need to go and to stack wins, they're going to have to play some 50-50 ball with the run pass and some play action. And that's going to keep the heat off Justin's back. So obviously they know if he's their shining spot on offense, the run game has to step up.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it, and Justin Herbert has over 400 yards of total offense and 4 touchdowns, and your 2 running backs combined for 42 yards. It's something I'm sure they take personally. Like, what, we need to not that Justin Herbert necessarily in this game needed the help, but that's not a recipe that you want to build a rookie on and you want to build your franchise on, is having that much pressure on your quarterback and no running game. And part of that, kind of like you mentioned, is just giving them more opportunity. I mean, Joshua Kelly had 12 carries. Justin Jackson had 5 carries. So 17 carries to, I think, I'm not a mathematician. I think that's 17 carries total between the two of them. It's sometimes as a running back, really any position, you just need some consistency to get that momentum going and we maybe break that big one when you keep pounding the rock. So I think hopefully in these future games, we'll see them start to run the ball more effectively. And that may start with just running the ball more often and, toting the rock a lot more times than 5 to 12 times.
But also, Ryan, I want to add, there are offenses out there where this is part of it. The quarterback has to run the ball, right? Mm-hmm. So that's something that was on his scouting report when they drafted him, that he can actually tuck it and run and he has wheels. Maybe it's not anything to be so frowned up upon. This is part of his game. Yeah. He needs to do that to move the chains, give the offense some new light, give them a new set of downs and touchdowns, right? Because he's doing his thing. I love the kid. Ballin'.
Yeah, dude, he's fun to watch, man. He's just fun to watch. Everything that he does with the football, the accuracy, the deep ball, the playmaking ability. And something we talked about off air before, is how he's spreading the ball around. Obviously, you look at Keenan Allen had 10 receptions, a monster game. He's obviously the favorite target, as he should be. He's Keenan freaking Allen, arguably the top 5 receiver in the entire NFL. Get him involved. But other than him, spreading the ball around, you had both your tight ends, Virgil Green, not even your main tight end, Hunter Henry, but Virgil Green and Donald Parham both with a touchdown. Jalen Guyton, another touchdown with a deep pass. So he's getting all his receivers involved to kind of keep the defenses guessing. And I think that's what's really built his repertoire too, because a lot of rookie quarterbacks, you see them hone in on 1 or 2 guys, and that's kind of it. They don't disperse the ball a lot. So he's done well in really getting his entire offense involved.
Yeah, you got to go kudos to the OC. Kudos to Anthony Lynn, because they're putting this kid in the right position. The play calls have been on point. Obviously, we were putting a little stress on the run game from the running back's position, but if he adds that extra just jolt of energy, or a bolt of energy, can I say that right? A bolt of energy.
I like it.
This offense can go somewhere. So, yes, we want the running backs to keep it up, but we do want Justin to keep doing what he does. Just stay safe, stay healthy, and finish the season out, right?
Yeah. Oh, man. Fingers crossed on that. But, yeah, could be more thrilled, more excited. And I think the city of L.A. and Chargers fans they had a sigh of relief with the win, but they couldn't be more thrilled with what they're getting out of this rookie quarterback. And I feel like we just say the same things every week, but it's because he keeps one-upping himself almost every week. It's unreal. We watch him, it's like, dang, this guy's legit. So
definitely better. But now he's going to Denver, man. What do you think? Do you think you're going to get a case of bad weather there? Because it can happen anytime in Denver, Colorado, in the Mile High City. Is he going to get some bad weather? How can he perform in that?
Well, that'll be, luckily I don't think he's too not used to bad weather playing up in Oregon, the outside stadium. So he's used to cold, but Denver's a different kind. I was there last weekend when they played the Chiefs and it was 9 degrees and snowy conditions. I think it should be warmer this coming game, but it'll be interesting. The Broncos have a really bad taste in their mouth after a really bad loss. The scoreboard looked bad, but just the game itself, just on all phases, looked terrible. Gave up a pick six, gave up a kick return touchdown, multiple had 4 turnovers. So they're going to be coming out fired up. Kind of how we talked about these Chargers coming off a bad loss against the Saints, getting a bye week, and the Jags were just in their way because they were going to come out hungry. I'm afraid, and we'll talk more about it later in the week, but I'm a little worried for this Chargers team that they're going to get the same treatment from this Broncos team coming into that almost trap situation of just someone coming off a high, someone coming off a low, and then they both just meet, and who's going to really want it more. And I think the Broncos are going to really want it, but we'll get into that.
You're just a Bronco fan. I don't think they stand a chance. I think they're going to come out, they're going to fire away, they're going to do what they do, but they're just going to sputter and not have anything. They don't have anything.
Well, we'll see. I didn't say I predict the Broncos to win. I just said it's a division game. Broncos always have the Chargers number, and they're coming off a bad loss.
I'll give you that part.
Yeah. Drew Lock's got something to prove. If this is going to be a Drew Lock, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes division, and Drew Lock wants to be a part of that, he needs to play well this game, or else he may be seeing the door sooner, because Denver doesn't allow bad play for very long. They're kind of like LA.
And let's add Derek Carr to that mix too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, disrespectful for me. Your former teammate, Derek Carr. Got to add him. And he's looked good this year too. He beat the Chiefs.
He did.
Yeah. Beat the Chiefs. So before we move on from the Chargers, let's talk about the defense a little bit. Our guy, Uchenna, former Trojan, shout out, sack and a half. I thought the boys were getting after Gardner Minshew all day. Didn't they go, a quarter and a half without a completion? The defense at times looked really, really good.
Yeah, I love hearing Uchenna's name. Obviously, he's an LA guy, getting a chance to stay home, alma mater down the street, playing for the Chargers, and he's really coming alive, getting the opportunity to play valuable minutes, and he's making a name for himself. Obviously we know his name, but the more stats he gets, the more he climbs. And, if they win, they're going to be calling his name. The defense, like you said, at times they have played roller coaster football. Let's be real. They have been the reason why the Chargers haven't won a lot of these games. They played really great, but then somehow they give up the touchdown. They give up that big play. This week it didn't happen, almost, but it didn't happen, and they finished the game. And I feel like that's the confidence booster this defense needs also. They need to continue to play consistent, get some guys back that have been injured, and they're playing a struggling Bronco team. So why not stack 2 games in a row, get some confidence? You might pull someone down this midway point of the season.
Yeah, and I think Chris Harris Jr. should be back for this game. I haven't heard for sure, but
Yeah,
he'll be playing his tail off, I think, in this one. But I want to quickly talk about Uchenna, who I love seeing what he's done. You said everything you need to say about him, a guy that's got opportunity. But he reminds me, and I don't want to keep comparing, to the Broncos, but it's a similar situation. It reminds me of a guy like Shaq Barrett, who for the first 2-3 years of his career was behind Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, one of the best to ever do it, and would come in to spell them, and we'd see him get like 4, 5, 7 sacks a year. And it's like, this guy can really play. And when it came time for him to be a free agent and get paid, well, he was still going to be a backup on the Broncos because they drafted Bradley Chubb. So he goes off to Tampa Bay and leads the league in sacks last year. Uchenna is that kind of guy that has been behind Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram his whole career, but when given an opportunity, gets sacks, plays well, has had some big games in the playoffs. And I don't want to say this in a bad way, but when that free agency time comes, when his payday comes, I hope the Chargers can keep him, but we may see him become a premier pass rusher for another team. And that's just because of how well he's played, not anything against the Chargers.
Yeah, it'll be a big decision for him. Stay there, play on a growing team with a rising star of a quarterback that has some promise, or go get yours, And in this name and game, he's been around LA a long time. Will he go, or will he just stay there and, be a team guy, and hopefully they give him enough to keep him content and happy for a few years.
Yeah. And his decision may be made for him because Melvin Ingram will be a free agent this year, and he's probably going to want big money, and the Chargers may not keep him. And then Uchenna is promoted to the starter, and they can sign him long-term. But we'll get to that later in the offseason. If there was, we said it was a roller coaster game for the defense, but if there was one thing that was, I guess, disappointing, had to be the rush defense, who I think has been really fairly pretty good this year compared to years past. But with the addition of Linval Joseph and the draft pick of Kenneth Murray and Kaiser White playing really well at the linebacker position, they've really played well against the run. Not so much against the Jaguars. The secondary looked great. Gardner Minshew threw for under 200 yards. But, this young James Robinson, undrafted rookie running back, ran for over 119 yards and ran tough yards. They just couldn't get him down, it seemed like.
Yeah, just another guy getting opportunity, And, when you get in a position like that on a struggling team, you got to get yours. You got to make sure you show up and you're on the stat sheet. And he did that. And like you said, the Chargers been playing very stout versus the run. Everyone up front, those D tackles have been playing good. They've been playing strong. They had a lot of stuff being talked bad about them, especially those draft picks. Mm-hmm. And so they get Big Joseph over here, and he's probably brought some veteran leadership and some stout interior run defense, and they've been playing good. So they have to get better. Good week of practice to bring on the Broncos. And is our good friend Melvin going to be playing in this game?
Yeah, another one. Melvin. I mentioned Chris Harris Jr., but Melvin Gordon on the other side playing his former team, which I'm sure he has a chip on his shoulder, and I think the Chargers do too. So they'll want to be taking him down. And Justin Jones should also be back in the center there for the Chargers, which is a big get. And that only makes Justin Tillery better because he doesn't have to play as many minutes and can come in and spell him. So Chargers are trending up. Let's just go with that. They're trending in the right direction.
I'll take that.
Yeah. So good win for them as they get to 2-4. Excited about where this team goes, and we'll get into this Broncos-Chargers game on the next episode to preview it. But anything you want to wrap up before we put a bow on it on this win?
No, great win. Stack them. They got a chance to stack them versus struggling Broncos team. I know you're all about the Broncos, but hey, get them. Beat them like they're supposed to get beat.
Beat them like they're supposed to be beat. Okay. And make sure to pick up a pack of Bolt Up Golden Ale from Golden Road Brewery. There's never been easier to get this beer because you can go right to lafbnetwork.com, go to our menu where it says Locker Room, click on that, and the first thing you're going to see is, or it might be the third, I don't know, but it's on the first page. You'll see Bolt Up Golden Ale. You can get it right there. Couldn't be easier.
Get you some.
Get you some for the game. Yeah, you gotta have a nice cold.
Tweet us, Instagram us some pictures. Let us see.
I like that. Yeah, do that. Yeah, I want to see some pictures. That'd be fun. We'll be drinking beer with you in the Collide chat room. How about that?
Okay, that works.
All right, Frost. So after a great Charger win, let's now shift gears to the other LA team, the Los Angeles Rams, who hosted the 5-1 Chicago Bears on Monday night and took care of business. But before we get into that, obviously, this segment is brought to you by Golden Road. Whose House Blonde Ale? We had the Bolt Up for the Charter segment. Now we got the Whose House Blonde Ale for the Rams segment. Same thing. Go to lfbnetwork.com. Pick yourself up a case. Chat with us in Collide. Send us pictures of you drinking beer. who knows? You might even get a free case from Frostee and I. We have them to give out, so might as well take a picture and send it to us. But Frostee, this game I thought was Rams, came into it after a tough loss to the 49ers. So it was a statement game, if you will. The Bears were coming in 5-1. We talked about it in our preview show. Were the Bears for real? Were they a fraud? I don't want to say they're a fraud because of the Rams won, but I do think the Rams were by far the better team. They won by the exact score margin that I predicted, 24-10. What was your just initial thoughts, though, of this win?
Well, my initial thoughts is that you actually predicted the score, and you're just a lucky guy. You know what you're doing now. You're a guru, as they call it. Oh. And so Ryan the Guru, he's going to change his last name or his Twitter account.
I should have taken that luck to betonline.ag, but I didn't. I wasted it. Wasted on my score prediction. Oh well.
Yeah. And you're plugging them so much, you should have did it. But no, the Rams took care of business. Exactly what we said they were going to do. Embarrassing loss to San Francisco 49ers. They come back and they just get to work. Like I said before in the previous show, the Bears had no chance, and it just proved I was a guru also.
Yeah.
Because let's keep it real here. The offense did exactly what I said they're going to do. They're going to start running some jet sweeps and stuff, some of the stuff that beat them, that caught them off guard. They were going to do that. I thought they were going to play stout defense. They did that. Bears couldn't do anything, and this is a Nick Foles team, or Chicago Bears team, but we'll go back to Nick Foles that sort of has the Rams number, right? So here we go. The Rams played bully ball all the way in Chicago, did their thing. It was good to see Leonard Floyd make some plays, right? On my Instagram, I had who was going to make more plays. Was it Khalil Mack? Was it going to be Aaron Donald or other? So I'd like to say it was Aaron Donald. The guy's still a monster. He's leading by example. He's just, the best defender in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he shows out every game, had half a sack in this one. Plugs the middle, but it's what he was able to spring for other players. And we keep talking about who else is going to step up, because we know Aaron Donald is going to show up. Even if he doesn't show up in the stat sheet, what he brings to taking other players or taking other offensive linemen, basically, stacking him. So who's going to step up on those single man blocks and take care of business? And it was Leonard Floyd against his former team, finishing with a 2-sack game and a 6-tackle game. So it was great to see him show out. I thought it was funny when we had Joey Christopoulos on our previous show from Believe in Bears, and he was the one immediately to say Bears fans are overjoyed Leonard Floyd is gone. I think he said dancing in the streets was a direct quote. And here he is, Leonard Floyd, 6 tackles, 2 sacks. Have a night, young man. I loved seeing that against his former team.
Yeah, he had a night, and he beat one of my old teammates, Bobby Massey, won with a nice move. It looked like a pass rush teach tape out there. Nice moves. He's worked very hard. He got put in that position. We weren't very high on him, said he was playing average at best. He was just out there, shows up every once in a while, but did he show up? He showed up, like you said, a stat reel, 2 sacks, 6 tackles. He should have been player of the game in my eyes for us.
Yeah, no, I think he was. I think he got a game ball from McVay afterwards, well-deserved. So, super happy for the young man. And you mentioned the offense. I thought Goff had a really good game, 23 of 33, highly efficient, 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. The rushing game was fairly efficient. They had over 25 carries between the 2 main backs. Still no Cam Akers. Kind of odd that he's healthy and still not getting on the field at all. Yeah, but, Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown are taking care of business. They had good averages, 4.3 and 5.7 respectively. And you mentioned Trees with, the jet sweeps. Had a tough fumble, but obviously it didn't come back to rear its ugly head as the Rams were able to pull away. But, he's such a great veteran player that, he'd bounce back from that. But he's so good on those jet sweeps. Like, if you give him any space, it's an automatic 10-yard gain every time.
Absolutely. He's such a talent, and I just love watching him shine. They paid him. Finally, he got what was due to him, and he's just really showing up. And congrats to Trees. Obviously, a fight on that's always awarded to him because he is a Trojan. But he stepped up. He's a leader on that team. He's playing phenomenal. If they need him in the pass game, he's going to be available. He can do jet sweeps. He blocks. He's an all-around player, and he so far is my offensive MVP.
Yeah, I think that's super fair, and as he should be. And he's been great ever since he came back to LA after his stint in Buffalo, and couldn't be happier. He plays for the – what do we call the Rams, the blue and yellow, or do we just say bone and yellow? I mean, they have so many different jersey very soul and bone.
I don't even know. I don't know.
I kind of like soul and bone.
I just like the Lambs.
Lambs, okay, sure. Yeah, I was going with color schemes, but isn't the Lambs like lame though, or no?
Yeah, not when they win.
Not when they win, but I feel like that's what like opposing fans would call them, the Lamb. Like I know the
Well,
Broncos they call them the donkeys. Like
I'm used to be opposing, so
okay, that's fair.
why the Lambs come in.
Okay,
right?
so fans should not call them the Lambs. Is what you're saying? Opposing fans?
No, probably not. So
But hey, if
hey,
you're winning,
fans
who
out
cares?
there, if you're listening, I know you are because we've been checking our stats ourselves. You are listening.
Yeah.
Don't call them the Lambs. Call them the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. Soul and bone. Soul and bone. I'm trying to think of any other stand. I love Gerald Everett. Had a big game. Another touchdown for him. General Electric. I'm gonna get that nickname to stick. I've been trying for 2 years. GE General Electric. He stepped up in Tyler Higbee, who was a late game scratch, the starting tight end, but he came through. He's a yak machine, man. So I love Gerald Everett out of South Alabama, and I hope he's able to get a contract this offseason because I think he's a big part of this offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just opportunity, man. You know, not where you're from is what you do with it. So keep balling, young man. Let's go back a little bit when you're talking about Jared Goff. He played exactly the way he's supposed to play. Mm-hmm. Play it safe, Jared Goff. Play it safe. Stay off the canvas. Stay off the dirt. And just get rid of the pill. Get it to Bobby Trees. Get rid of it. And this team should just keep rolling. Yeah,
but he had one play. He had a very Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray-esque play, which what a game that was, the Seahawks-Arizona game. But he had a play where he looked like he was dead to rights in the pocket and showed a little escapability there and then hit a big pass for about 20 yards down the sideline. So I was like, all right, Jay Goff, I see you.
True story. I had a chance to sack him, and he actually broke the tackle.
Jared Goff did?
He did. We don't have to reminisce on it, but I'm good for truth telling. So
okay, that's fair. I always appreciate that, you, Frost. So he wasn't a lamb in that situation. He was a ram and escaped.
There you go. Today he was a
yeah. All right. Well, last day this game was, I thought, a good display by the Rams. So let me ask you this. We've talked before last week how we both, me probably a little more emphatically, I was like, this is a legit Super Bowl contending team. They have all the pieces. When they can put it all together, they are a true threat, not only for the division, but to go to the Super Bowl. Then they have that bad loss to the Niners, and now they bounce back with another good game plan, another good called game by McVay, a great called game by Brandon Staley who bounced back. So, long way of saying, is that Niner game an outlier, just a poorly played game, or is there still red flags that you say, maybe the Bears just aren't as good as we thought? I mean, we personally didn't think the Bears were that good, but maybe the Bears aren't that good, and the Rams still haven't beaten a good team.
The Bears suck. Let's just be real. We called it before the game. We don't think they're a very good team. The record is a little of an illusion of what they are, but they're not a very good team. The 49er game will be the bulletin board reminder for the rest of the year that they can never play down to a team's level. If they're going to be a champion, they want to be a champion, right? Since LA is a city of champions right now. I believe that the Rams will use that 49er game the rest of the season to make sure they do what they're supposed to do and take care of business. It's going to be the constant reminder. It's never going to be forgotten. And, you know, that Rams 49er and that Rams 49er matchup is always one to be talked about, but you never want to see it lopsided like that. And those Rams won't forget. That game right there set the tone for what we're going to see the rest of the season.
I agree. I think it was a wake-up call for them. They had beaten 4 bad teams in the NFC East, beat them all pretty handily. And the Niner game was a wake-up call saying, okay, we haven't beaten anyone yet, and now we just got beat badly by a team in our division. And so they bounced back this week, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It'll be bulletin board material going forward, and I'm excited for that matchup when they meet. I think they play the last game of the season or the second to last game of the season against the Niners again. They still have the Seahawks twice, still have the Cardinals twice. So tough sledding ahead for the Rams, but the important thing is they bounce back, get back in the win column, move to 5-2. So they're 1 game ahead of the Niners currently, sitting tied with the Cardinals and still a game back of the Seahawks in a gauntlet of a division. But they get the Miami Dolphins next week, who will have Tua Tagovailoa first start in the NFL. So it'll be fun. I'm just going to say it. We'll preview it later, but it'll be fun to watch the Rams play spoiler in his NFL debut.
Yeah, absolutely. And we finally get a chance to see Tua and hopefully all 4 quarters against a talented Rams team that's coming to make sure he doesn't have a great showcase game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, yeah, Great win for both of our LA teams. Remember, make sure to get some Who's House Blonde Ale from Golden Road Brewery. You can get it on LAFBnetwork.com. Go to the LAFB locker room and click the link right there. As easy as that. But without further ado, I know I prefaced in our intro we have a guest on the show, and I never said the name. I just teased it. But Cory Paus, a good friend of the show. He's on the Believe Network, does the Somethin Bruins podcast. I've been waiting for this for a while. I'm so excited to welcome him onto the show. With shoppers buying everything online these days, getting those holiday gifts for family and friends is going to be harder than ever. But no need to worry, because our friends at the Seattle Shirt Company have got us covered. Jay and the team have an unbelievable selection of NFL and NBA jerseys for everyone on your list. These jerseys are 100% authentic, from current superstars like LeBron James to all-time legends like Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Walter Payton. Seattle Shirt Company has it all. And right now, for our listeners, we have a special one-time only pre-Black Friday Cyber Monday deal. Everything you buy at seattleshirt.com is 30% off. So head to seattleshirt.com and enter the code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, at checkout for 30% off your entire order. Shipping is always free. Seattle Shirt Company, helping you get ready for the holidays a little bit early. Once again, that's BLEAV at checkout, seattleshirtcompany.com. All right, Los Angeles. Well, I've been excited to have this guy back on. Had him on last year, became a good friend, and I've been more excited because to watch the dynamic between Frostee, Rucker, USC Trojan, and the guy I'm about to announce, who's a legendary UCLA Bruin, covers the Bruins, the Somethin Bruins podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. Cory Paus, my man, how you been? What's going
on? You know what? All things considered, I can't complain one bit, and I'm excited to talk to you guys. Certainly have known you for a while now, Ryan, and looking forward to getting to know Frostee more as well. I've listened to your guys' show a few times. You guys have a nice dynamic, and I hope I don't screw it up.
No, you're going to add to it.
Yeah, I think you'll be just fine. So, well, Cory, there you go. I like that. Let's jump right into, so obviously football for the Pac-12 this coming Saturday is the last Saturday finally that we will not have Pac-12 football. I want to talk about some other stuff too, but we'll jump into football, make it easy first. So UCLA had a down year going into year 3 for Chip Kelly. So let me just ask you this. What's your thoughts on Chip Kelly? I know I love your show too. Listen to a lot about him, a lot about DTR, but let's start with the coach. What's your thoughts on Chip Kelly, and do you think he turns this thing around in year 3?
I hope so. I like Chip Kelly as a coach. I like him as an offensive mind. Even though he's not a rah-rah guy, I think he still has a lot of positive leadership qualities. I've questioned his decision to stand behind DTR, specifically last year, as much as he did. I'll just start it out by saying this. I think the wrong quarterback moved to wide receiver. And, I had said, I guaranteed that Colson Yankoff would be the starting quarterback this year pre-COVID. And obviously that's not going to happen because he's now playing wide receiver. But I was shocked by that. And I think that Chip is going to have to go by the way of DTR again. He started his first 2 years with 7 wins, and that could have easily been 11 with a different quarterback. So I hope I'm wrong, and I hope DTR proves me wrong. But as Frostee can probably attest to, you can't teach leadership and you can't teach toughness. I know you played with some tough, badass quarterbacks, Frostee. Yeah. And I don't care about statistics. I don't care about flash. I care about toughness, and that I haven't seen. So I think Chip is putting all his eggs in one basket, and I hope I'm wrong, but we'll find out right away. with the first game against Colorado.
Cory, quick question on that, just to echo what you're saying. In your wildest imagination, why would you think he's in bed with DTR so much?
I don't know. I wish I had that answer. I feel like he had to slow his offense down. I don't think that his offense was running at the peak of its ability in terms of play calling and schematics when DTR was actually playing.
Right.
In the few times that Austin Burton came into the picture, the offense moved more efficiently, in my opinion, as well. And I really can't put my finger on it, other than the fact that he sort of inherited the DTR situation, and it's a safer bet, right? Like I know I'm not alone, whether or not I'm the only person will go on record, talking about this, but I know I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it gives him a little bit of, a little bit of a fallback in terms of, I'm doing the best I can with what I have. And I was really disappointed again to see Yankoff move to wide receiver, because I thought that should have been a more competitive situation. And I was disappointed to see Austin Burton transfer, because, again, knock on wood, I hope DTR plays and is healthy the whole, half a season that we're going to play, right?
Yeah.
But I guarantee you he won't be. And I hope I'm wrong, but he hasn't shown that he can make it through games. And it's not like he's tearing ACLs or breaking bones.
It's not competing and getting up and scraping himself and picking his chin up and getting back to work. Yeah.
And I got nothing against the guy. Again, I hope to be wrong. I'll eat my words. I've been invested in the UCLA program more than a lot of people. I've been a suite holder at the Rose Bowl since 2006, and I signed a 20-year lease, for God's sakes. So, this is not my main business. I'm a corporate insurance broker. So my main business is trying to, do business with other Bruins and entertain and have a good time at football games. I'm sure you can imagine over the last 15 years that it hasn't been easy.
Let me ask you a question. How high were you on Josh Rosen?
I thought Rosen was a really good quarterback as well. But, at the end of the day, I thought Rosen had some of the similar attributes that DTR has in terms of, just being a little soft.
Yeah,
okay.
I kind of agree with that. So let me just stick with that, Cory, and put you on the spot. Aside from yourself, who has been your favorite UCLA Bruins quarterback that you've watched?
Come on, Cade McNown. Come on, of all time.
Yeah.
Say that too.
All
right. So your favorite receiver?
My favorite wide receiver? Oh man, that I watched or that I played with?
Either one. Your favorite one that you watched? Because I'm a Danny Farmer guy.
Yeah. So I played with Danny for 1 year, and that was a good fun year. But I feel like, I know, Danny had Cade's senior year as a junior, and I promise you that if you got Danny to tell the truth, he probably would have said, "I wish I would have left early," but he stayed. So I got to give it to Freddie Mitchell, and from a standpoint of a guy that played with some great wide receivers, but Freddie was a guy you could always count on, and was certainly a playmaker. Big mouth, big personality.
Florida boy, he was nice, man.
Yeah, but a really, really, solid college receiver for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Freddie was great. Did you play with Deshaun Foster?
Yeah, another Tustin guy. Come on, right?
Yeah.
And you asked me who my favorite best running back. There's hands down. But Deshaun and I came in as the number one recruiting class, and got nothing but love for Deshaun, and we had our careers. We were a lot of high expectations, and things didn't certainly go as well as we hoped at UCLA. But I was happy to see him be able to play at the next level.
Well, the one thing I take from your guys' time at UCLA, you guys played dominant football with Bobby T as the head coach. I was a fan. watching Deshaun, leave high school, go there, and then your whole recruiting class that came in. Obviously, you took a couple guys from Tustin, so that was always, I was glued to the TV and I became a fan of UCLA. I'll show you guys this picture. I actually wore a UCLA hat one time.
What?
Yeah,
I
did.
not. Comes out now.
Hat, and I got a picture of it. It was great. So I was pumped up for you guys, and just watching how you guys competed. Deshaun should have won a Heisman while you guys were there. Like you said, Freddie Mitchell, Brian Poley-Dixon, Brennan Anbendazio, right?
Yeah.
Am I saying these names right?
Yep, I'm Adazio.
Kenyon Coleman. I remember these guys because you guys were even, going toe-to-toe with USC and beating them, so I watched it. You guys played great, and I've been a fan of yours and theirs for, because of that.
Well, I appreciate that. And in full disclosure, I've said this before. I'll say it again. USC remains my second favorite team because for multiple reasons. I've always sort of you got to appreciate the way you guys play, and I want you guys to be undefeated when we play. So it's not the same.
Likewise.
I mean, you were there when when Pat Cowan, ruined one of your guys' seasons, right? I mean, that UCLA was a down team that year. You guys were, I think, undefeated, and it was like
the heartbreaker. But it was about that matchup that made it so good. Like any team can win that game.
The college football world will spontaneously combust if and when someday UCLA plays USC and they're both undefeated. So that's what I root for. That's what I want to see. But to point out I appreciate the things that you said, but we inherited an 8-game winning streak against USC, and anybody that knows anything about statistics knows that it's very difficult to keep that up. So what I decided to start was an 8-game losing streak at USC, which myself and Drew Olson, unfortunately took over and did an 8 for 8, and now it's I think we're close to we're getting closer at least.
Yeah, I think I got a hold of Drew every time I played him.
Yeah,
every time felt good. It's like if I didn't do anything all season, I got his ass.
Right. Well, and Drew Olson again, another great guy, tough guy, and a good friend as well.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about him.
Yeah, this should be interesting. And if this is the season for both teams to go undefeated, it would be the season with only 6 games before 6 games before they play each other. I think 5 games before they play each other in the 6th game. So maybe this is the year both teams come in 5-0. Yeah,
I mean, they could be hot. They could get hot. And again, you have to, with all the things that I've said so far, I imagine, I'm not on social media. I don't, whatever. I'm sure I get a little bit of a hard time for some of the things I've already said. But you got to promise me that I will come back on your show after the 3rd game and eat every single word that I just said and beg for forgiveness, because I hope to God I'm wrong. But I'm optimistic that something positive will happen, something will change, right. And because there's talent out there. If there's an area that I love, and I saw you guys had Felton on not too long ago, if I'm right. Yeah. He's one of my favorite guys on that team, awesome. And all of the receiving core really. Mm-hmm. There's some really good receivers out there, so it's just a matter of getting it in the right guy's hands consistently, and more importantly, at critical times in the game, and more importantly, not fumbling when no one hits you.
Yeah, we saw that all too often. And you made a good point, or I think Frostee asked the question, why is Chip Kelly seem to be married to DTR when it wasn't even his recruit? So I'm curious if we'll see, Parker McQuarrie, the young kid they recruited out of Vermont, is obviously going to be a freshman and on a COVID offseason, but I'd be curious, and I need to answer this with any knowledge, but just in your opinion, if DTR does struggle 2-3, because you don't have a lot of time to turn things around. If 2 games in he's struggling, do you think Chip pulls the cord, or do you think this is DTR's season, and after that we'll move on? I
think this is DTR's career. Yeah, right. Like if he's at UCLA, he's going to be the starter. Apparently, from what I can tell. So whether or not that's again, don't have a personal relationship with Chip. Can't speak for him, but I'm just telling you from what I see and from what I hear. I don't see it, if he however Yankoff ended up going to receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That to me says it all. This is DTR's college career. I don't care how bad he plays. If he's healthy or he's healthy enough to play, I don't think he's getting taken out. Because think about the critical aspect. If he does yank him, then he might as well put in Yankoff, right?
Yeah.
So I think he leaves himself open to too much criticism if he does that. So I don't see him taking him out with. I think DTR's got a long runway, and if he's healthy, he's the starter no matter what happens.
Well, the one thing that I noticed, SC hasn't even put out their depth chart yet. I talked to a few of their coaches, and the running back room still isn't solidified. A couple other rooms still have some question marks of guys coming back, fighting back from injuries and whatnot. So they haven't even set out their depth chart. Maybe that's something that Chip's going to do. Keep everyone thinking that that this is going to happen, and he's completely married to the guy, and then last second, gives you something else because again, there hasn't been any spring ball games on TV. There's nothing like that. This is the COVID series, right? So it's what we don't know. So hopefully. There's something else and there's a wrinkle. You guys do start off versus Colorado, which is a team that has a new coach, going through the COVID situation too, whole new coaching staff. They didn't play well, haven't played well for a decade.
New quarterback.
You guys coming in time. This might be, you guys get that first one under your belt and just start rocking and rolling.
I hope so. I really do. I again, same thing for USC. I know this is the LA Football Podcast Network. The Rams, I feel like, got back on track. I'm also invested in the Chargers. I'd like to see them get more on track. I think they've done some good things, but who knows? In this COVID season, I'd like to see UCLA play well, no matter what. I'm going to root for them. Going to root for USC, and anything could happen with the amount of talent that both of our teams have.
Yeah, so last football question I'll ask you, Cory, and I got one final one before we sign you off. That's not related necessarily to football, but with no knowledge, we haven't seen any play. What do you think? I'm going to put you on the spot. You think UCLA gets to – I don't even know what they're capping out to get to a bowl game. But do you think they get over 4 wins?
I hope so. But I would say if UCLA goes 4-2, then that would be a big win for Chip. Right?
Yeah,
and that would be a good season.
That may be what keeps them around. You know what I mean? Because they may be able to get some recruiting out of this. Obviously, the cross town, we do have a new recruiter in Dante Williams that left Oregon, LA guy, got a lot of energy coming in. But hey, if UCLA wins some games, they may be able to steal a couple guys here and there and get some 5 stars and really turn the thing around because being in LA is what everyone needs to be. It's the prime destination for football. And, the resurgence of UCLA makes it all that much better.
Yeah. And I also would say that, Chip hasn't tried, from what I can tell, to get some of the questionable academic guys in that you undoubtedly do need to make it to take that next step up, in my opinion. And he's tried to maybe, it seems to me, focus a little bit more on the Stanford model. And I'm not comparing UCLA to Stanford by any means, but I mean, Frostee, Stanford is an anomaly, right? I got recruited by Stanford, and I remember them telling me that they were going to offer me a scholarship, but I had to turn in an essay, right? A written essay. And I was like, why would I need to write an essay? I got a 4.0 grade point average. You got good test scores. What do you need an essay for? Well, that's just how we do it. And Stanford guys write essays. So I feel like he's trying to find the right combination of academics and athletics, but God's a fair man, right? I ain't no genius, okay? And I was a pretty good athlete.
Okay.
So December 12th, obviously this is the COVID-7 season, but we do play you guys, USC, UCLA. Is there something we can do? They're going to grant you any access to the stadium? Are you getting in? Is the game in Pasadena? What's going on here?
And the Rose Bowl.
So it is at the Rose Bowl this year. And as I understand it, if they're going to be letting anyone in the stadium, the suite holders will have first access to any of the games. So the short answer is, if they're letting anybody in, I'm fucking there. Okay. And which means you guys are there. Which means that we get to definitely do a show after that one. Yes. Maybe we do a live stream at the game, right? So yeah, no, you got me on record for that as well. If I'm there, you two are there. Yeah, I don't know. I talked to the Rose Bowl the other day, making sure that they didn't want their big check.
They wanted that.
Yeah, exactly. I think they still wanted money from last year. So as soon as I know, I'll make sure that you guys know so that we can plan for it too. And if we're going to, then like I said, yeah, well, let's do something before the game and pump up the views.
Yeah, let's do something where we can, all week leading up to the game.
And I would say this too, even if they don't, I appreciate that these ideas, because even if they don't, by then I can't imagine you're not going to be allowed to go to establishments and things of that nature. But as I mentioned earlier, like, I'm part of the ownership group for the Rocco's Taverns. So if we're not allowed to go to the game, then we'll have it at one of those, or the same guys that own that one own 9-0. So we'll do it at the 9-0
as well. So
yeah. I mean, come on.
I love it.
How great is Leo?
Home base. We'll have a home base.
How great is Leo? How great are Leo and Alex?
Oh my God, Leo!
Right? Come on.
The best. I've also been talking to the guys over at Nickel 9 in Westwood, so that's another place that we can do that. So we got a lot of options. I think it'll be fun.
Options, guys.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. We'll see you December 12th. We'll try to get you on just to get a little recap of what's going on with you guys as the season prevails. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. It's finally good to meet you. Obviously, I know a lot about you, watched you play.
And vice versa.
Thanks, brother.
So the great Cory Paus, former UCLA Bruin, now the Somethin's Bruin podcast. Thanks, man. Appreciate you as always.
Take it easy, guys.
All right. Big thanks to Cory Paus. Love that guy, man. He's so much fun.
Yeah, he was solid, man. He just he fit right in with us. I think we'll be having a beer here pretty soon with him.
Yeah. Well, I said it, I can't remember if I said it pre-show, but we, during the USC-UCLA game last year, we all hung out in the, what was it, like the players lounge or whatever at the Coliseum. And then afterwards we all went to the 9-0 and like Lendell White was there hanging out. But I had a good time with Cory. So that's how I really got to know him. And I was able to hang out with him at the UCLA Cal game, the last game of the season at the Rose Bowl. So I saw his suite that he speaks of. So yeah, he's a great guy. Good insight.
Yeah, he's solid, man. Good to have him on. Obviously, he's a very good insider for us going forward for our LA football podcast. He's going to be giving us the late breaking stuff. I'm sure they're not going to hold back on giving him any info, and he's going to funnel it to us, right? So
exactly.
Let's ride his wave, right?
So I still think the best thing about that interview was hearing you have a picture of yourself in a UCLA hat.
I do. It was actually in the yearbook too.
Wow, look at that. Okay. And then he went to Colorado State, and then he became a Trojan, and the rest is history.
Rest is history.
So
I did have one.
Yeah.
I promise that.
Good to know. So, all right. Well, big thanks to Cory Paus. Big thanks to all of you, the listeners. Great weekend for LA football. Rams and Chargers both win 2-0 on the weekend. Rams get back to 5-2, and the Chargers improve to 2-4. We'll be back later this week to preview the next two games as the Chargers travel to Denver to face the Broncos. The Rams travel to Miami to face Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. I'm getting good at saying that last name. I'm kind of
that was good. I would definitely bobble that one.
just
right. I'd like to say I do have a SC guest. I'm not going to say who it is now, but I am going to get somebody on here to give us a little insight. What's going on down in downtown LA?
Love it. Can't wait for that. So make sure to subscribe to the show wherever you listen. We are everywhere you listen to podcasts. We're on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook if you want video form. Frostee, thanks so much. Pleasure. I know it's been a long week, but thanks for taking the time and always talking football with me and giving our listeners some great stuff as always.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. As always, thanks for being the best co-host there is out there.
All right. I love that. I'll take that. So, yeah, you take care. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you all in a few days.